From the moment the first reports broke, it had all the markings of a horrifying attack. At least one gunman, possibly more. A shooting at the oldest Navy facility in the country, home to 15,000, including the Navy's top officer, and only a few miles from the White House and Capitol building. Panic ensued in Washington, D.C. today as the death toll mounted. ABC's Jim Avila has our coverage of the deadly rampage.
In a flash, a dreary Monday morning turns to chaos. SWAT teams running through the neighborhood, fully armed. Helicopters circling over America's shipbuilders at the Naval Sea Systems Command in Washington, D.C., as bullets target those just reporting for another day at work.
We got a report on the fourth floor, a male with a shotgun, multiple shots fired, multiple people down. We're still waiting for the okay that the scene has been secured.
Everyone said, this is no drill. Go, go, go. Emergency exits now. Go, go, go.
D.C. Metro Police say they get their first call of multiple victims down at 8:20 a.m. By then, a security guard on the first floor of the Navy Sea Systems Command Center, the so-called Building 197, is hit.
We have an active shooter on the fourth floor.
And the gunman is on the upper floors, apparently shooting down from atrium walkways into the open core of the 5-story building, blasting away at the food courtyard below.
I heard 3 gunshots. We also don't have pow, straight in the road.
Shots that triggered a full-scale panic, an all-out rush for the exits in a building where 3,000 military and civilian personnel work.
A few of us just ran out the side exit. There we saw the security guard. She told us to run to shelter, keep running.
Todd Brundage and Terry Durham were both on the 3rd floor trying to escape the mayhem when they stepped directly into the gunman's sights.
As we were exiting the back door, we noticed him down the hall. He stepped around the corner, we heard shots. And as he came around the corner, he aimed his gun at us and he fired at least 2 or 3 shots. And we ran down the stairs to get out of the building.
We could see him with the rifle, and he raised and aimed at us and fired, and he hit high on the wall, just as we were trying to leave.
What was going through your mind?
Get everyone out of the building right now. Get everyone out of the building because there's someone shooting.
By 9:33, the first ambulances rush victims to hospitals, and some are scooped off the roof, bravely airlifted to safety by circling helicopters.
We have an officer down, building 197 on the 3rd floor.
This ambulance, with a police escort, carried a D.C. patrolman who shot it out with a gunman. At 9:45, the FAA stops all flights in and out of Reagan National Airport. And back at the building, EMTs struggled to safely remove the injured.
At least 5 people shot. They were attempting to bring outside.
Only later would police realize the toll was much higher. A dozen innocents dead and at least 8 wounded. Late tonight, authorities confirmed that none of the victims was in the military. All civilians or Navy contractors, one of them standing shoulder to shoulder with Navy Commander Tim Giris when he was shot.
I saw him drop in front of me. He was shot in the head.
Finally, at 12:14, police announced they have fatally shot the gunman. But until tonight, feared there might be others involved.
Big concern for us right now is that we potentially have 2 other shooters that we have not located at this point.
The Navy Yard stayed on lockdown for more than 6 hours. Survivors told to hide in place, some barricading themselves in top-secret secure closets, others under their desks.
We put chairs and then tables up against the door. We heard gunfire and we looked up and there were 2 bullet holes in the top of the wall of the conference room.
7 hours after the first shots were fired at 3:15, the nearby Capitol building was locked down, and the Nationals called off their night Major League Baseball game as rumors and reports swirled of multiple gunmen. At 4:24, the FBI finally releases the dead suspect's name, Aaron Alexis.
No piece of information is too small. We are looking to learn everything we can about his recent movements, his contacts, and his associates. And we ask anyone with information about him to contact us at 1-800-CALL-FBI.
And it wasn't until 10:19 p.m. that police felt confident Alexis acted alone.
So we do now feel comfortable that we have the single and sole person responsible for the loss of life inside of the base today.
Military records show Alexis was in the Navy from May of 2007 to January 2011, serving at a naval air station in Fort Worth, Texas. Sources tell ABC News that he last worked as a civilian IT contractor for the Navy and had a valid security clearance he used to get on campus. Photos of Alexis fit the description of eyewitnesses who described him as a steely-eyed killer, randomly gunning down whoever was in front of him until he was shot and killed by police. But those reports collide with accounts of people who called him a friend.
He had a gun, but it doesn't mean that he's going to shoot people.
It's so night and day to me right now. It's not even in his character.
But ABC News has learned Alexis had a history of disturbing behavior and brushes with the law. He was arrested in September 2010 in Fort Worth, accused of recklessly discharging a firearm into a neighbor's apartment. And in May 2004 in Seattle, Alexis confessed to shooting out the tires of another man's car in an incident he described as an anger-fueled blackout, according to the Seattle Police Department. Alexis's father told police his son had experienced anger management problems that the family believed was associated with PTSD. He confirmed that his son was an active participant in rescue attempts on September 11, 2001. As of tonight, officials have found no evidence pointing to terrorism. The prime theory is that Alexis had a grudge against the Navy. Since they don't know much about motive, how can they say that there's no terrorism involved?
Well, because they do know enough about him. He strikes me as a guy that's been going downhill for probably a number of months, if not years. Mm-hmm. And it's all building up, and he, in his own mind, is convinced that the only way to empower himself is to attack those he believes have wronged him.
This is the fourth mass shooting this year, with more than 5 people killed, and the 19th since President Obama took office in 2009.
The President of the United States.
The president, who, while marking the 5-year anniversary of the financial crisis, opened his remarks with some all too familiar words.
Today they face the unimaginable violence that they wouldn't have expected here at home. We will do everything in our power to make sure whoever carried out this cowardly act is held responsible. In the meantime, we send our thoughts and prayers to all at the Navy Yard who've been touched by this tragedy.
Sources tell ABC News that the hard, tangible evidence points to only one shooter. And late into the night, the FBI blocked off this Brooklyn, New York street where they questioned Aaron Alexis's parents, still looking at not just how, but why this Monday morning tragedy ruined so many lives. For Nightline, I'm Jim Avila at the Naval Shipyards in Washington.